Okay, hello everybody, good evening, and thank you for joining us. I see that we do have a few parents online, and more will join as it goes on. This is our second virtual town hall. We had one last week about COVID-19 and the operational plan. That was with the 3 high school principals in the area. It was Leo Hayes, Fredericton High, and Ormocto High School. There is a link, and I've had people email me back, your link isn't working. We're working on it. We'll get it fixed, and we'll make sure that we get that up on the website. So this is the second one, and we'll go through tonight. And again, if people aren't able to make it, we will post this one. Hopefully we'll have a better success rate, but it's like anything new. You don't know how it's going to work until we try it. And as we do these throughout the year and have some practice, we will get used to them. So this isn't something that we'll be doing every Thursday night, but we just thought with school startup, it might be worth our while just to try to reach out to parents. I know that it's been hard for me as a new principal, just not being able to meet parents and say hello. I'm finding that a little bit difficult. People have been great, and parents have been really understanding and very welcoming in the community, which I've really appreciated. So thank you for that, and thank you for joining us this evening. So just to give you a little bit of background, there are 3 of us on the call this evening. So it's myself, Stephanie Underhill-Thomason. I am the principal here. We also have one of our vice principals, Lori Pearson, and she's with us, and she's going to talk a little bit about the grade 9 week. She was in charge of the transition to grade 9. And then we have Heather Stewart, who is one of our SPRs. And those of you my age would remember the old days of department heads. She would be the department head. We call them SPRs now. Power School. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. So just to give you a little bit of background about me, normally we're in a theater and I can see you and interact with you, but I'm just talking to a blank screen and sometimes wonder if I'm going crazy within these 4 walls, doing a lot of talking and not getting a lot kicked back. So I started in July. This is my first year at Fredericton High School. I have been an educator for 24 years. 14 of those have been in administration. I've been administrator longer than I've been a teacher, classroom teacher, which is strange, but really enjoyed the job and was very excited to come to Fredericton High, and I'm very proud to be back. I was a student here, graduated just shortly ago. You know, I'm very young, so it was like yesterday when I graduated. So it's been a different transition because going into a new school, new district, and during a pandemic, I don't know why that appealed to me, but it really did, and it has paid off. The people here are awesome, and the kids have been fantastic, and it's been a great journey. I will tell you that we have had a slow startup, which is the way we wanted it. We didn't want to just have everyone come in and let it be a big free-for-all. We had to make sure that we were adhering to our operational plan, which as an admin team, we spent an enormous amount of time on preparing because we want to make sure that the kids are safe, and we want them to feel safe, and we want you as parents to have that comfort and that sense of safety of sending your kids into a building. And I can tell you, you know, I too am a parent of a grade 9 student, and for some of you, this is your first venture into high school. Woo! Welcome. It's like Groundhog Day for me. It's like I've never left. However, my daughter is in grade 9 as well, a new high school parent, and that's a whole different ball game. And I don't know if you're like me, but if I would always go to the open houses in elementary and middle school, and I just wanted to see where my child was sitting. And some of the, you know, she went to a larger elementary school, but when I could see her desk and I could see the hallway that she was walking and I knew where the classroom was, in my head, even though I was a principal, just not even a kilometer down the road, she didn't seem so far away from me as soon as I could picture that. So this year is different because if you feel like me, you might be feeling that distance from your child as well. And maybe some of you are like, man, they're grade 9, they'll work it out. But we do hope that you will be able to come back into the building soon and just get to know the high school. I will tell you, if you're a first-time high school parent, this is a great place to be. There is nothing intimidating about high school in the beginning. It's just kind of, for those first few days, the only way to the other side is through it, and you've got to go through it. And the kids have done that. And I think it's been a good adjustment into high school for the grade 9s. We had a great couple of first days where we just had the 9s with us. And, you know, it's a big place. And even though I went to high school here and I am the principal here, I find myself getting turned around sometimes. I think a teacher's in one hallway, I got to go all the way around and follow the arrows on the floor and get all the way back to the other side of where I have to go. But I think the kids have worked that out pretty well. I do want to tell you that coming to high school, there are a few things that we try to work on with our grade 9 students. And again, I include myself in this, being right along with you with my own child. But it's one of those places where we've got to start to let go. And as parents, that's really hard. And, you know, in August, I was receiving lots of emails. What's the school supply list? Does my child need sneakers? All of these sort of questions. Whereas I think now we wouldn't even dream of asking those, because the kids, they tend to grow up and meet high school so quickly, and we want them to be resilient. And there is a book, put it somewhere. It's a book right here, and I'm not saying that you have to read it, because I'm gonna summarize it in 3 sentences. But if you ever wanted to read it, this is a good book. It's called The Price of Privilege. It is a book I found just ramming around chapters a few years ago, but the words were really good. And it was about a higher socioeconomic school in the South. But the 3 rules are the same thing. Don't do anything for your kids that they can do for themselves. Don't do anything for your kids that they can almost do for themselves. And don't do anything for your kids to build your own ego. And, you know, they're pretty self-explanatory, but I use the making a bed analogy, right? So if I have a child and they can almost make the bed, my son's fine motor skills in middle school are not great. The bed does not look fantastic. But if he's making it every day, it looks better than it looked 4 months ago. He's terrible at making the bed, but it's way better because I'm not doing it. He's going to have to do his own bed sheets, and he has to do the wash and all of that. He can do that for himself. I'm not saying it's great and it looks awesome, but he does get the job done. And don't do anything to build your own ego. You know, I think back to a few years ago, we had a boy and he wanted to work on cars. That was his gig. That's his wheelhouse, right? He loved working on the cars. And his parents had other plans for him. They wanted him to go the math science route, and they did hope for a plan in medicine for him. And he kept saying, I'm not following that, my family's footsteps in that. I'm not interested in that. I want to work on cars. And they were saying, but we have a plan for you, right? And in the end, he's working on cars. He's very happy. He was able to follow his own footsteps. And I know sometimes his parents were really trying to guide those career paths, but that's sort of the stuff that we're really hoping that kids will work out for themselves. Same thing for advocating for themselves in school. We receive quite a few emails about asking questions that really, to be honest with you, your kids can be asking those questions themselves. And COVID is rough, and you're working, and as parents, you are just working it out and you're doing the best you can. At some point, your kids have got to step up and they've got to be able to advocate for themselves. So a lot of those questions in your head, just kind of think, can they do that for themselves? Why am I continuing to do that? They can go and ask their teacher. They can reach out to their teacher. If something didn't work, they were going to school the next day. They can work that out. They're half grown now. They're getting into that adulthood. So that's just some of what we are looking for at the high school level. If you're new to grade 9, you're new to high school, you need to know that grade 9 is pass-fail. And it is a year-long program. It doesn't matter if you are at Fredericton High, if you're in Grand Manan, if you are up in Bathurst, grade 9 is grade 9 is grade 9. And the same thing for 10. And then in grades 11 and 12, you start collecting those credits for graduation. So just so that you're aware, it is a pass-fail. We do issue grades, but it's not collecting those grades for graduation at this point. We do have 5 classes. We have 1 hour, and that's new to kids. It is off-campus privileges. They do have an hour to go for lunch. It is taking some time for them to get through, but I understand that the kids are telling me that McDonald's has got it down to a system. They are quick and they're able to move people out, but they have to socially distance. And I'll tell you what, the kids have been great. They're great with following those COVID procedures and safety precautions, even in school. We are not fighting a mask battle. You know, we came into the building going, how's this going to work for us? Are they going to wear their masks? And I'm telling you, they are wearing their masks. And it's not a nag. If someone doesn't have it on in the morning, if we meet them at the door and say, honey, get your mask. Oh yeah, sorry. It's a forgetful thing. It's not a refusal, right? So it's been really great that way. So the off-campus privilege, we do have some sports running. It's not the same, but it's more than we had in March. So we find that's a pretty good blessing, and we're happy to see the kids out running around and doing some of those sports. As well, we do have a contact page. I wanted to mention that. So if you're new to the building and you're saying, who do I contact for? Because there are a lot of people. I'm telling you, we have a staff of 170 people, and that includes everyone from 5 vice principals to 5 guidance and 16 SPRs, the department heads I talked about, and librarians and teachers and EAs. So we do have quite a few that are leadership roles in the building. We want you to use those points of contact, but all points of contact start with the classroom teacher. You got to go up kind of from the starting point. And the starting point, if your child is in the class, that's where you start. And that contact page is on our website. And it's on the left-hand, well, I guess I'm looking at the camera. This is your left. On the left-hand side, it's a little drop down to see contact us. It'll tell you who your child's vice principal is. It'll tell you who your child's guidance counselor is. They're all broken up by alphabet, and they work as teams. Really, there are 2,046 students here. Each vice principal, by their own right, kind of run their own school of 400 and some kids. It's a large place. They are fantastic at what they do, so make sure that you reach out to your team. I've talked about COVID, the operational plan. Oh, 2 more things, and then I'm going to hand it over to Mrs. Pearson. So I want to talk to you about your child getting involved. And I know right now, because it's COVID, we kind of think, COVID, not much they can do. But we are trying to slowly, with consultation, release more and more things that are available to kids. And really, your high school experience is what you make it. If you find that we've just been, maybe Ms. Pearson, if you can talk on that about the clubs and availabilities, we're starting to gather that information of just trying to encourage your kids of what they can get involved in. It really does make a difference in their high school career or life, if you so choose. Again, we do have a breakfast and lunch available. It's called Cat's Kitchen. It is free to everybody, and they just walk up, and usually they pick up their food, but now it's handed to them because of COVID. We have student volunteers. It's awesome. We also have breakout spaces for lunch that if you're not in the cafeteria, it does hold 100 people only with COVID right now, 2 at a table. Wear your mask until you're seated, eat your lunch, and then you can put your mask back on. You got to go, let the other people come in and eat. We do have safe spaces all around the school called Cats Club, and they've got a little cat paw on the door of the classroom. Brr. So you just look for that paw, and you and your friends can go in, and it's a safe place for you just to sit and relax and have some lunch. The other thing, and my last one, is the PSSC elections. We are looking for folks. We have 3 positions available for our parent support committee this year. We do have 3 people, the 3 people who their terms are up are re-offering, but if you would like to run in that PSSC election, it would be on a Monday night where you show up with the PSSC that are there and see if you're the successful folk. There are 12 folks on PSSC, but just letting you know, we have 3 that are running and are re-offering. So if you're interested, let me know. That is it for now. I do a lot of talking, but I'm going to hand it over to Lori Pearson, and she will talk about grade 9.
Hello there. I am going to share my screen. Hi everyone, I'm Lori Pearson. I am one of the vice principals here, and I had the wonderful responsibility of looking after the grade 9 orientation. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Stephanie, can you see my screen okay? The slideshow?
I see you looking like you are looking at a screen that is not on the screen.
Okay, well, let's see if you can see the screen. Can you see that?
Now I just see you smaller in a circle. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yes, thank you. So I'm a new vice principal here at Fredericton High School, so I am going to be one of the first graduates of class of 2024 as well. I'm also a parent here at the school. I had a son graduate in 2018. I have another son who's in grade 12 now, another son who's in grade 9. So we're actually starting high school at the same time. So what I'm going to share with you is a set of slides that we shared with our grade 9s during their orientation. And there was so much happening during that time. It was a lot of information. So we're going to share it again with you as families, because I think that will answer a lot of your questions. And we'll just go through them. And then if you have any questions at the end, you can certainly ask away. So here we go. Now to get it to move. First, we reminded our children, and I think we can remind some of our parents, don't panic about our school day. We're all in this together. We've said it many times. It is what it is. We're doing the best that we can. We remind our kids often about being on time, about our school day. We've talked to them about what it looks like. They've had the chance to experience it. They've had the chance to find their classes. And there's always lots of adults and leadership students around the building to support and guide them. We have announcements that happen every day, which will start to be live, are actually posted through YouTube on our website called The Daily Roar to keep the kids engaged in what's happening. They have a nutrition break every day. Stephanie, Mrs. Thomason talked about Cat's Kitchen, where they can get some food if they need some. They have lockers. We have lots of technology. Kids are bringing their technology. And then we have our academics, which is a big part of our day. But yeah, we remind you in everything that we do not to panic. School isn't as big as it looks. You'll find your way around. And I think the students have gotten a pretty good sense. A lot of the day is spent sort of in the C block, which is sort of the core of the building, C for core. And then we have the wings that jut out, but each wing sort of have a specialty. So they've learned that, you know, this wing's where we find technology, this wing's where we find athletics, and they've learned to find their way around. The school day starts at 9:20, which is a treat for many teenage brains that like to sleep in. However, we do still find students running a little bit late in the morning, so it's really important to arrive at 9:20. The warning bell goes at 9:15, and it's bums in seat, ready to learn, first period at 9:20. So really, in your mind, think 9:10, and that way you're getting here, you're getting to your class, and you're ready to learn at 9:20. We have 5 classes a day. We have a 15-minute nutrition break after that first period, because at 10:20, some students may have had breakfast at a more of a regular time. So we find they're hungry, they get an hour for lunch, and then we dismiss at 4 o'clock. And the buses are usually rolling out here around 4:11, 4:12. So they have to get their things together and get on their buses to head home or get picked up. This is what our schedule looks like on a regular day. This is also posted on our school website. The periods aren't broken down as such, but you do get an idea of when the breaks are happening and how long the periods are. Each period is an hour. Again, arrive on time. Shoot for, I say 9:10, gives you a little bit of time to, get that red light without speeding, but get here on time, because you just start your day so much better when you're in your seat ready to learn when the teacher starts. Again, the Daily Roar is starting next week, and it's YouTube videos, and they are posted on our website. It's a great way to have a look and see what's happening in the school. If your child wants to go back and look at the announcements once they get home, they have access to that. And it's part of a class that Mr. Carson runs with this technology, so they are created by the students. We have our nutrition break. No one is allowed to leave our school until lunchtime, so we do keep our campus closed until then. Teachers have been given kids the opportunity to have a locker if they want one. Some have said no, but many have taken that option. Technology. The technology part has really changed in the building, and that many students are bringing more and more of their own devices because now they have open access to the internet, and teachers are incorporating technology into the lessons daily. Academics, we're reminded for the students that it's all about effort and to be engaged. And really, like Mrs. Tomlinson mentioned earlier, this is something the kids can do for themselves. And I know as a parent, sometimes when they come home from school, your child comes home and they're upset about something that happened in class. Really try to problem solve that with them and say, okay, So then how did you react? Or what did you ask the teacher about that? And just really encourage them to be an advocate for themselves. It's going to teach them independence, and it's going to, in the long run, better equip them. I've also learned as a parent, I remind my own kids, it's like, that was your side of the story. Now, how do you think it looked from the teacher's perspective? And oftentimes getting them to sort of think about how there's more than one side to the story, and to give yourself a chance to work through that with them. Our school motto, success not without hard work, and we do really encourage our students constantly to work hard to be the best that they can while they're here. Hand in all the assignments. Now, again, with home learning and the work that they're doing right now, it's not always as clear cut as we'd like things to be. Each classroom teacher will have different expectations. So that's really why it's so important to foster that communication with the classroom teachers from the beginning, because they're the ones standing in front of your child and working with your student each day, and they are your best resource for all assignments and knowing where your child's at in the classroom. Make the best of your time here at high school. We have been collecting a list of clubs and activities that are offered and available, and once we get that finished, that will be posted on the website so that students will have a chance to look and see what's available to them. And there's so many things that are being offered. Get involved. Again, there's lots of opportunities to get involved. School clothing. Now that they're in grade 9, they all received a t-shirt with the class of 2024 on the back. If you did not, or your child did not get a t-shirt, let us know. There are more here in the office. But if they want to purchase some FHS swag starting next week in the bookstore, it'll be open over lunch, and they can bring some money to school, cash only, but they can purchase hoodies and track pants and toques and socks and you name it. Anything black and yellow with an F on it, it's in the bookstore. We're always reminding our students to be kind to each other, whether they're here or whether they're out in the community. They're always representing themselves in the way that they behave. Eating breakfast is important, especially where they're coming to school a bit later. They have a little more time, hopefully, in the morning. And the Cat's Kitchen, Mrs. Tomlinson mentioned that as well. It's a place to go, get your breakfast. You can get lunch. And this is an initiative for the community. Sometimes you might hear us asking for volunteers to make lunches. So it's something that our students can have access to. Reminder about the no scents policy, and that goes with our hand sanitizing products as well. Last 2 days, students have been getting their pictures done. They will get student ID next week. So they will have that ID, which will allow them to use in the library, sign books out, and it's good to hang on to it. One reminder, again, is your first point of contact with communication as a classroom teacher. We highly recommend that you get your child to take a picture of their schedule, or you take a picture of their schedule and store that on your phone. So that way, for the rest of the semester, and second semester courses are listed as well, you know where they are, what period, and who the teacher is to contact. And everybody's email address is their first dot, their last name at nb@nb.ca. So you can get in touch with those classroom teachers and start the communication if you have any questions or concerns. Here's a list of who your child's vice principal is and their corresponding guidance support based on their alphabet. So anyone with the last name LE to PO falls within my alphabet. And our guidance counselor that goes with my team is Suzanne Maxwell, Mrs. Maxwell. So you can have a look at that list and see who it is that you would contact if you need to contact someone beyond your child's teachers for support. And at the end of it all, we hope, and we are hopeful, that we are going to have a great year. I know there's many, many things that we would be doing differently if it wasn't COVID, but at the end of the day, we're just so thrilled that we have students in this building, and we will take what we can get and we'll enjoy and make the best of it. So If you have any questions, again, please reach out. We're here to support you and your children to make this a great learning experience.
That's great. Thank you. Thanks. That was very informative. Folks, if you have a question, you are more than welcome to put it up on the side, and we will see if we can get at that and get that answered for you. And as Mrs. Pearson just said, you know, COVID, it's just a different year, but we're moving through it, and there's a lot of how, what, who, why, and the answer just seems to be the same all the time. COVID. So we just tends to be our go-to answer, but you know, we're moving through it, and the kids have been awesome. And I'm going to hand it over now to our SPR of Power School, Heather Stewart.
Hello there. Hopefully everyone can hear me. I am the SPR for Power School, so that's one of the hats that I wear in this building. I also teach math, but I am here tonight to talk to you guys about Power School, and specifically the Power School parent portal. And so you've heard a few things about the parent portal already through some of the emails that Stephanie has sent home. And as you may or may not know, it is closed right now for public access until Thanksgiving. So if you did have access before, because maybe you have an older sibling or an older child, then at this point, there's really no information to see there, just while we're sort of adjusting to our new way of teaching with the global pandemic going on. But I will tell you a little bit about what you can expect for once you do gain access to the portal site. And so first thing is that you should mark your calendars for October the 15th. That is our first night where we're going to have parents sort of come into the building while maintaining social distance from 5 to 7 p.m. So that evening, if you would like to register for the Power School parent portal site, then you can come in. You will need a proof of identification. So we'll have to check your ID and your address with what we have on file here at the school. And then we'll be giving you some information on how to create your account and access your child's information. So I'm just going to go through some of the things you can expect. So let me just get my PowerPoint ready here. So hopefully you can see that. So our portal site, so parents can now become more involved partners in education with your kids. Some things you can see from the portal site is your child's attendance, and especially with our one day here, one day learning from home, that might become a little bit more important to you, just so you can see sort of what's been going on those days. There you can access your student's schedule there as well. You can see their current grades and any assessments that the teachers have entered there. You can also see historical grades. Now for grade 9, obviously there won't be any other information there, but once your student continues on through the grade levels, then you can go back and look at final grades for courses throughout the years. And in March, one thing that we've been doing the last couple of years is online course selection. So students and parents can sort of take part from home through the parent portal site when it comes time to pick those courses for the next school year. So when you do come to register, you will be given a letter from the school with the following information. So the first one is the public portal's internet address. I do get a lot of parent emails with people having difficulty logging in, and the first thing I ask them is to make sure they're going to the right website, because the parent portal exists for each district, and so you might be going to, Anglophone School District South's portal site instead of the West, ASD West's portal site. So you want to make sure you're going to the right website. That's the first one. And then you'll also be given instructions on how to create your account. And I'll sort of walk you through that tonight, what you can see when you get on there. And then you'll also be given a unique student access ID and student password, and that is unique to each child. And so that's the information you'll need to link your account with your child. And so once you do get to this URL, once you are able to come in and register and we give you the information, you'll go to the site and you'll want to click on create an account. and then there's a second button to create an account, and then you'll sort of go through. You'll enter all your information, your details, an email address, a username, all that type of thing. And then this is the part where you enter your child's specific information. So you enter your child's name, the unique access ID, and the unique password that's provided by the school. And then you pick your relationship to the student. And then once that's all done, you will click submit, and then your account will have been created. And then you just go back and you sign in with that username and password. And so these are just some things. This is sort of what it looks like when you log in. This is from my own oldest child here. So you can see grades and attendance. That's sort of what it looks like. You can see those numbers there. They're probably pretty small on your screen, but anyway, after Thanksgiving is over and we can all register for this again, then you'll sort of see it with fresh eyes. And then there's attendance history there as well. So all of that is what you can see once you are able to log in there. Anyway, and so also if you ever run into any problems logging in, so once you have registered, if you have a hard time logging in, your password doesn't seem to be working, then you can feel free to contact me. And my contact details are on the FHS website as well. And so I think that is it for me. But again, don't forget to mark your calendars for October the 15th for you to come and register for access to the parent portal site. All right.
Okay. Thank you. So Heather, someone's saying that we can't see the screen presentation. I can see it, but it doesn't mean that people at home can. We'll post this, so hopefully it will be on. But the most important thing is that you are able to make it on October 15th to come up and socially distance. You got to come up. The reason we need the parents to come to the building is that you have to show your ID in order to get you registered on that. And that is just, there's no wiggle room on that. Parents have to do that. So that's why we need you to come into the building from 5 to 7. But you're just coming up to the door, showing your ID. We're going to have a lot of the information pre-slugged, and we will go from there. But the portal's great because you can see anytime a mark's been posted, you can see if your child showed up for school or not. But they're all going to show up because they're awesome. So it's 7:03. We'll move on to some questions. If you have a question, put them in the side there, and we will go through and see what's up. Okay, so right now they're asking about retakes. Yes, when someone else answers another question, I'll go into my email because I think I did get something on that today when the retake is. So I'll get back to you on that, but I do have an answer for it. I'm going to talk about the holidays and the rotational schedule because I see that there's been like 4 people ask this question. And it's a good question, and you're right, because it took us a while to get our head wrapped around as well. This 2-day schedule is completely new to all of us, and that's why I say that we are going very slowly with all of this, because we cannot afford to have teacher burnout. We cannot afford to have kids getting bogged down in the first few weeks of class. We have to just take it easy and ease our way into this because we don't know how long this is going to last. You know, we could all be back in January. We could all be home in January. We don't know what we don't know. So we have to protect everyone's mental wellness and just take it easy and in small little sips of water and baby steps. So talking about the calendar, yes. What I have been doing so far is in the emails each Friday, I have been putting out what the next week looks like, if it's A through L or if the day is M through Z, and if it's a homeroom day or not. Sometimes we have homeroom days, and that is the first 15 minutes of the school day. We do those on days such as picking up immunization forms, giving out school IDs, maybe we are picking up health forms, like we just don't know. So when we have stuff to collect, hand out, talk about, we have a homeroom day. I think what I will do for October is just calendar so that everyone can see for themselves. And right now we do A through L, M through Z, and it's kind of A, B day. And I don't know, in hindsight, maybe should we have changed that to black and yellow? Would that have been easy? Black and gold? I don't know. But right now it's just A through L and M through Z. But looking at the calendar, if it is, okay, so stay with me because this can get confusing. If it is a planned missed day, so I'm going to open up to Thanksgiving and see what Thanksgiving is supposed to be. So if October 12th on the Monday is supposed to be A through L, but because it's a planned interruption, a planned holiday day, we bump A through L to the next day. All right. So on that week, A through L are coming on Tuesday, the 13th. So if it is a planned holiday, Remembrance Day, or a teacher professional learning day after Christmas, the holiday break, the schedule bumps ahead. If it is a storm day or a flood day or no electricity day, then the school is canceled. If you were A through L and you were to go to school that day, you are not going that day. Okay, you've missed your in-school day. It wasn't planned, so you're going to miss the day, and then the next day is M through Z, and then you'll attend the next day on the A through L. So if it's a planned missed day, the schedule bumps. If it is unforeseen circumstances and the school is closed, whatever group of kids were to go that day, do not go that day. It's canceled. They lose the day, so to speak. I don't like saying lose because the optics of that is bad, but they will not be attending on that day. So October, we'll put out a monthly calendar just to help keep people straight. All right. Anyone want to answer another question while I go look for that picture retake date on my email?
I just lost the questions. Here, let me find them again.
If you click on the
new.
Yeah, it shows you the new questions that have come in.
Okay, let me see. Go back. Oh, someone was asking about the dialer, getting a phone call on a day that their child's actually supposed to be home. So that was a question they asked if there was something wrong with that system. So currently, teachers are putting attendance in when your child's here, but also trying to make an effort to keep track of students when they're not here as well, based on online engagement. So we're at different places with that. So you may in fact get a call when your child is actually supposed to be home, because for whatever reason, maybe the teacher didn't indicate whether or not they had engaged with the child that day. So what I'm advising parents, if you're confused about the attendance of a certain period, look at your child's schedule, see what period 4 is, and send the teacher an email and just ask for clarification. So it may not, the computer can only do what the humans tell it to do. So sometimes the message doesn't get to the phone computer dialing system in time and the call goes out. So yeah, you may in fact receive a call on a day your child's home saying your child missed school, and you're sitting there saying, of course they did, they're not supposed to be there. So it is a bit confusing.
Yeah. Okay. And again, we are still working out the pieces of this. Attendance and how to take attendance has been a huge issue. And someone, I think, asked the question about what learning looks like at home. And I will answer that. But before that, because I don't want to get away from myself because I get too many things going on at once. Here's what I can tell you, but I'll put this out in voicemail later. Nobody knows this yet. You guys are getting it firsthand. Students did not receive a school picture order form on the picture day this week. They will be distributed to students on October 5th. So on October 5th, they're going to get the little card with the photos and school IDs. Students who wish to retake will indicate on those forms when returning to the school. Picture retakes, and for those who missed them, will be done on October 29th and October 30th. But we'll put that out. You're hearing it first. Pictures and retakes. All right, talking about how there was a question, are the students to be at home online, and what does the workload look like? As grade 9s, I'm gonna tell you a couple of things. First of all, on the day that they're home, are they expected to be online for the entire class for 5 hours? And the answer is absolutely not. It's going to be up to the classroom teacher how they decide to administer the work for that at-home learning. All right, it could be assignment, it could be a quick login for 5 minutes, it could be your assignment the next day is your attendance. But what's important is that when you are at your at-home learning day, that learning is occurring. And I understand that the mindset is of the school day and students should be working. Yes. We're also dealing with the reality, and I need you to understand this, and this is the prickly part, is that we still have some families in trauma from COVID. We do have kids, and not grade 9, but some older ones who are working because parents have lost their jobs and they are the earners. And yes, I hear what you're saying. It's against the Schools Act. I'm not getting into that during a pandemic. What is important to me is that the students' wellness is taken care of and that the learning is taking place. What does it matter to me if the learning is done at 8 in the morning or 8 at night? We have just come out of a pandemic, and what a perfect time for me if I wanted to go right now moose hunting, right? If I want to go moose hunting with my dad for the day, why can't I go if I can prove to my teacher that the learning is done, right? So those are the kinds of conversations that we're having. We've got to look after that mental wellness. They don't have the opportunities that they've had to kind of spread their wings and do whatever they want. We've got to look after kids. On the flip side, we also have to take care, and in a couple of weeks, parents, we're going to see this with some kids. What we think is going to take us 30 minutes at home actually takes us double time because we're not used to that at-home learning, right? So we have to be able to work out as students our pace and what that looks like. And some right now are looking at days where they are sitting down at the table at 9 in the morning and they're still there at supper time. And already some of them are really bogged down and overwhelmed. Now some are like, I got no work, I don't know. And that's the balance that is going to take us some time, right? That's going to take us a while to be able to figure out. We have not done this before. And we are in survival mode. We are still in a pandemic. And there are 170 people here to get turned around, right? Like I use it like the St. John Harbor. If I was at Rossay High School where there's 34 teachers and I'm a little boat, I could back up and head on out into the harbor, piece of cake. But there's a lot of us here. We are like the Royal Caribbean Anthem of the Seas, 3 long blasts, burr, burr, burr. Get ourselves backed up and going. It's a big ship to turn around. So we are still working out the balance at those at-home learning days. But again, what matters is that the learning is going on and that they can show proof of skill in the end. Someone said on those lost days, would students be expected to promote study with teachers on teams those days? No, we are not there. We are doing our best with what we have right now, and a lost day is the canceled day is a canceled day for everybody. No, they will not be logging on at this point. EECD may, in a few months, that may look differently. I can't speak to that, but for now I can tell you no. I hear a little click, 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 click. Is that you, Stuart? Ticka, ticka, ticka. Can you advise when the calendar will be updated to show what days are contact days for each group? Yeah, I doing the best we can. We put it out on Fridays right now, and the October's coming soon, and we'll put a monthly calendar out in October, and we will make sure that we get that to you. All right, because I know it's confusing, and on the best of days, I'm sure we're like, what day is it now? What's that? Like when we were kids, what time is it, Mr. Wolf? I don't know, dinner time. But it is 7:15, and I'm looking at the questions. Who should I send an email to if I ask for a leave for my kid? You need to contact the teachers, but if it's a leave for something else, contact the VPs, okay? Whoever your child's VP is. And then why treat planned versus non-planned school day closures differently? That is a question for EECD. But other than that, it is 7:15, and we do thank you for coming. We would like to do these every now and then just to try to keep people informed as best we can. And again, there's a lot of moving pieces, and I do put out a lot of voicemails to parents. I acknowledge that. Normally it's one a week, and it seems like I'm putting one out every other day. I am sorry for the amount of email that's coming, but there is a lot of information that I need to get to you, and sometimes it's changing. So we appreciate your flexibility, and we appreciate you coming tonight. I mean, it was a nice warm night out, and you chose to be here. So we appreciate and acknowledge that you took the time to come. But thank you so much again. We'll publish it on the website and our school website, and we'll go from there. But again, the contact us, classroom teachers and VPs and guidance, everyone's available to you. And have a great night. We were glad you joined us. So we're gonna have a great year. Anything else? Let us know. All right. Have a great night, folks. See you later. Bye.